Hello and welcome to the Legion M Live Lounge at Sundance 2018. Legion M is the first fan-owned entertainment company. We're here at the festival in the lounge sponsored by Cinemark Movie Club and Evolution Fresh. I'm here with my co-host, film critic and historian, Leonard. Film Nancy with director Christina Choe. And it's your first feature, and is this your first time at Sundance?
Yes, officially. Yes, this is my first time at Sundance and my first feature.
Please give
that's
Christina
a big
hand.
deal. Come on. Do you guys know how many films are submitted here? I mean, it's something like over 4,000 feature films get submitted. To get chosen is an incredible achievement in itself. And the showcase you get, of course, is great. So tell us about your first screening and what that felt like.
We're screening tomorrow, actually, at 3 p.m. Yeah,
you had
so
a press. You had a
yet.
press screening yet?
No.
Oh, so it's virgin territory now.
Yes, totally.
Oh my! Wow.
Yeah.
So that being the case, can you tell us about Nancy a little? Give us a quick
synopsis.
Yeah.
Nancy is a psychodrama about a woman who blurs the line between fact and fiction. And after her mother passes away, she sees this news report with this older couple talking about their long-lost daughter that went missing 30 years ago. And when they show the age progression photo, it looks uncannily just like Nancy. So basically the movie's her going on this journey to find out if she could be the daughter. And it's, a film about, the meaning of truth and the slippery nature of truth and love and intimacy and all of that.
And identity.
And identity.
Which is such a current topic in our conversation in the zeitgeist of the moment. People, pseudonyms play a role, I know, in this. And we're seeing so many stories in the news that seem like truly stranger than fiction.
Right.
So was there a real life incident that inspired this screenplay?
Actually, I did encounter a real life imposter in my life. My college professor, he was like, we all worshipped him. Like he had all these amazing gems, and he would inspire us. And he would say stuff like, "Write what breaks your heart, because what breaks your heart will mend your heart." And it's still stuff that I still, take to heart in my work. And I graduated, and then I basically found out that, what he had told us, was a fraud, and he, had said that he was the ghostwriter on a Hollywood franchise film that's very famous, and, he had basically lied to the students and his family, and, at the end of it, I was just like, well, does it really matter if what I took away from it was genuine and authentic? And I still, I was inspired by this person, and he was one of the most amazing teachers I ever had. And I think that theme is at the crux of Nancy. Does it matter if it's a lie, if the love and the connection that she feels is true? Yeah.
It's kind of like the A Million Little Pieces controversy, where it's like,
right.
That book meant something to people. Does it matter if it was true or not?
Yeah, or like the J.T. Leroy hoax, if you remember. And actually, people don't know this, but the books that she wrote under J.T. Leroy, which is not who she was, they were labeled fiction. They were never labeled memoirs. And I always find that fascinating, because she would say, when it all came out, she was like, well, this character was an avatar in a way for how I felt growing up and the trauma that I experienced, and this character just represented what I, truly felt. And, that to me is really fascinating.
Without giving anything away, without going into spoiler territory at all,
right.
Does your film, because I think I'm guessing at the answer now, does your film invite the audience to make up its own mind ultimately about the situation? Or do you do a defined resolution?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think it's definitive. I think there's some questions that you're left with, and I think I don't want to say either way. Like what her if she's manipulating or not, if she believes her, this or not, and I think that ambiguity and is what I think is fun about the film, and this slippery nature of truth, and I think that's what's interesting to me, is that blurry line,
You've done a lot of documentary work so far in your career.
Some, yeah.
What led you into narrative fiction?
I mean, I actually started writing a script a long time ago called Guess Who's Coming for Kimchi. And it was like based on my real life. And I just, was just learning how to write a script. And, life was imitating art and art was imitating life. And I just, I didn't think at the time I would be working with actors. I would just stick with documentaries. And then I kind of fell in love with the process. But I still have done docs,
And you did a doc series that sort of investigated experience in North Korea to some extent. Was that?
Yeah, I just finished a docuseries about my trip to North Korea. And, you don't know it while it's happening, but after I realized, there's very similar themes of like I'm navigating between the government propaganda and, the lies of the government versus, the people and trying to figure out what's scripted and what's not, and that navigating between truth and lies in a way sort of keeps coming up in my life and my work, and it's just like kind of surrounding everything.
Well, because it's a very it's an incendiary theme. It can be an incendiary theme, but it's just so fascinating.
Yeah.
Even on a benign basis, you could do a comedy about this too.
Right.
It's still just got a gripping nature to it.
And now that we're, I feel like society, like post-Trump being elected, like it's just an interesting time where we're as a society like deconstructing the nature of truth and what that means, and it's very disturbing and sort of on everyone's minds. And
For people who don't know, and I'm sure many people don't, can you tell us about the process of submitting a film to this festival?
Yeah, I mean, you just submit, and then you just wait on your hands for the next few months, just trying to forget about it, and then, trying to, you're hoping, obviously.
Do you know certain deadlines? I mean, do you have days circled on your calendar?
Yeah, I mean, the project was supported through the Sundance Institute and the editing lab and the music and sound labs, which are separate than the festival, but obviously.
But nevertheless, that gives you a leg up, and it certainly gives you a kind of a seal of approval that the Sundance Institute, which is a year-round a series, collection of workshops.
It doesn't guarantee your, I know people that it doesn't not the case. So,
but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
Tell us about, you also did a short that was called I Am John Wayne a number of years ago.
Yes. I played at Sundance and won at Sundance,
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. And that's not like that, even then it seems like you were investigating elements of identity and through maybe masculinity. And can you talk a little bit about what that short was?
It was about a young kid growing up in Brooklyn, and he's part of this subculture of black cowboys that ride their horses in the street. And the film is, it's kind of simple. It's just about him grieving the death of his best friend, and kind of inherits his friend's horse and ends up riding it through the streets and avoiding going to the funeral and just dealing with. It's really about grief. But we played. That was the first time I came to Park City. So.
Why do you think identity? Is there something about these questions of identity that is particularly important to you?
I mean, I don't know what the thread is, but I know that I think I have more of like the outsider perspective and trying to tell these stories from more marginalized communities and people that aren't necessarily, in the mainstream. And I think maybe, just the way I grew up, like as in Jersey and the only Korean American in town, and sort of identifying with that kind of character is something that I'm interested in.
All right. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
We're so glad you're here. We wish you
you.
great success.
Thank you. It's very nice to meet you guys.
Enjoy the whole experience.
Thank you.
Christina Choe. Director of Nancy. Thank you.